So do you do interviews with the American actors when they come
Usually,
over?
usually,
That's good.
yeah.
That's good.
That's the only time I use English in my daily life.
You should keep using it. It's good to keep it fresh.
Actually, yeah. The more I do the interview, actually my English got more fluent because I use it a lot. So I try to keep that, but to do that they have to call me first. So I always look.
We'll keep you in mind.
Thank you very much.
Absolutely,
Okay.
absolutely.
갈까요? 네.
네네.
반갑습니다. 이승국입니다. 제가 정말 오랜 신세를 지고 있는 지니TV에서 좋은 기회를 마련해 주셔서 배우 다니엘 헤니와 그의 새 영화 서치2에 대해서 이야기를 나눌 수 있었습니다. 심지어 평소보다 시간도 길게 잡혔어요. 그러니 긴 말할 것 없이 바로 시작해 볼까요?
정말 신박한 스릴러, 모두가 기대하고 있는 바로 그 영화 서치2로 돌아온 배우 다니엘 헤니 씨와 인사하겠습니다. 반갑습니다.
네, 반갑습니다.
안녕하세요.
안녕하세요. 네, 안녕하세요. 저 일라이샤 파크 역을 맡은 데니엘 한입니다. 반갑습니다. 오랜만이에요.
We actually for a program from a channel called 지니TV.
지니TV.
And before we start things off, I have to warn you.
조금 영국 발음 바로 들었어요.
Really?
Let's start things off. 이렇게.
Thank you very much. I'm kind of losing it because I've been living in Korea for so long, but you're really good at catching this.
Yeah,
language.
your English is very good, man.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, the English was the thing I was going to warn you about because, I'm not a native speaker. So if I know the person I'm talking to can understand Korean, my brain get malfunctions sometimes because I don't know what language will turn out, what will come out from my mouth. So I might struggle from time to time during the interview. So please be patient with me.
영어 하셔도 되고 한국말도 하셔도 되고 저는 거의 다 이해해요.
Really?
네.
Thank you for saying
Yeah,
that.
you can always speak Korean, but I'll just answer you in English.
Okay, that's fine because
We can speak in Korean off camera, but my Korean's not always great in front of camera. So.
Okay, answer using any language you like because
Okay.
I'm not going to translate that. There are the other people who are doing that, so feel free to say anything.
Perfect.
Okay. You said your character is Elijah Park, and this movie, Missing, is actually the new installment from the Searching franchise, which became a huge hit back in 2018. And at the same time, this movie is a standalone movie which doesn't share any characters, any stories with its predecessor.
Right.
What can you tell us about this movie, Missing, and your character in it?
Well, I mean, for the fans of the first film, Searching, this is an installment. It's not a sequel, but it's going to have a lot of the similar elements: the excitement, the editing, the extremely everyone, the team behind this film. It's the same team from the first movie, and the editing and the pacing is so fantastic and exciting, and so timely and technologically relevant. I think with today's world of social media and just using all that stuff, we go on this journey with June, who's played by the wonderful Storm Reed, and some things have happened. I don't want to divulge too much, but she's searching for someone, and I come in to help. My character Elijah is an FBI legal attaché, so he's an agent, but he also kind of an agent. But what he does is he'll help the FBI with issues overseas. He'll work with local governments, local officials to help sort of spearhead operations in that territory. So he's helping Storm's character June in Colombia figure out what's going on with her loved one. And it's an amazing story. And I think a lot of films, when you read the script the first time, you have an idea of what it's going to look like. But this one, I mean, I was really blown away by everyone's work, but especially our amazing directors, Will and Nick, a couple young guys who just did such a great job. So it's a fun film.
Yeah, I watched the film and it was fun and good film too. I enjoyed every part of it. And this is a movie that sets in a certain franchise because this predecessor has done so good back in 2018. There are many people anticipating this movie. That means the pressure the director and casting directors were feeling must have been really huge. And I'm pretty sure they did their best effort to get the right person for the right role in this movie. And you're one of the person they chose. So do you remember how they called you? Like, what was the procedure to get the role in the movie?
Well, I think I was in Korea actually shooting 공조 2. I think I was in the middle of shooting. And I got a phone call from my team in the States, and they said there's an email coming to you from the team from the movie Searching. Have you seen Searching? And I had, and really loved the film. I thought John Cho, his performance was fantastic.
Great,
and, so I was excited, and I got the email. And it was sometimes as an actor, you'll get an email about like a meeting or an audition. Very rarely for me, I'll get an email that has an offer. And so this was a direct offer. I was very excited. And they were just offering me the part of Elijah Park. And so the biggest problem for me was my schedule. So I think we were shooting Gongjo, and then I came back to LA for maybe 3 days. Shot missing, and then immediately flew to Praha for
a TV show.
Season 2 of Wheel of Time. Yeah, that's when we started. And it was like COVID was everywhere.
It's back in 2021.
Yeah, so this was the first American project in America that I shot during COVID.
Wow.
Yeah.
By hearing it, you had a really busy schedule back then, even with the pandemic going on.
Yeah. I shot so much during the pandemic. I've probably been tested for COVID 500 times. Yeah, I think my nose is like numb now.
Lucky, it looks good right now.
Oh, thanks. Thank you very much.
Talking about your role in this character, in this movie, you said they called you and there was no audition at all because they believed in you.
Or they're crazy. One of the two things. I have no idea.
Oh yeah, I'm pretty sure it was the first one. Yeah, and you play an FBI agent basically.
Yeah.
And in your career, you also have the similar roles as an agent. In one movie, you work for the U.S. government in a secret department that deals with mutant, and you also work in a department working with Forrest Whitaker.
I did.
Yeah. So there are some times you played agents in other movies.
Yeah.
So. Has it become some of your symbolic image that Hollywood cast members see from you?
You know, I never really think about it too much. I mean, I have played a lot of agents. I played Simmons on Criminal Minds for 6 years.
Yeah.
And then I also, obviously Jack from Gongjo. I mean, I think it's a sign that people trust you. Playing an FBI agent is, I think it demands a certain amount of, you have to trust that person. You have to want to follow that person into extreme circumstances. So I take it as a compliment. I don't mind playing that role. It's always different depending on the movie. Look, Agent Zero from X-Men has mutant abilities as a marksman, and he's working with mutants and things, and that's so different than Jack from Gongjo 2, where he's this guy who has bigger aspirations to do more things from his place in New York, and is sort of struggling with his identity as a Korean American, and finds these two brothers in Korea with, Haejin and Hyunbin. And, I mean, that's a different story. This guy, Elijah, I think that he lives a pretty sort of uneventful life, and because he's a legal attaché, so he doesn't get to go in the field as much. And so taking on this case is a new thing for him. And then I think he was surprised by forming this connection with June. It started as a sort of a boilerplate normal case, and then he started to have feelings for her, have emotions, become more invested, and really feel bad when things do or do not work out. And I think it was something that really probably helped him to expand his character a bit. So I had a lot of fun with it, and we did it in 1 or 2 days, and it was an acting exercise, and it was a lot of fun.
Before I watched the movie itself, I watched the trailer first, and my first impression from the trailer was like this: wow, they give me so much about what's going to happen in the movie. Like, they tell us her mom's going to missing in the movie.
Yeah.
To me, if that happens from the trailer, that means one thing: the directors and writers are quite confident in how to tell the story. It's not about the story itself; it's the method they're going to using for the movie.
Absolutely.
And the producer Anish Chakanti call it screen live format.
And writer.
He's a writer too. True. So they call it the screen live format, which use only screen to tell the story.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, it's really, as an audience, using only screens like smartphones, computer monitors to tell the story, it's a really cool method as an audience.
Very cool.
But I'm pretty sure it's really challenging and hard work for editors, writers, and directors. And I'm curious about the actors. What's the actors' perspective on this special format?
Well, first of all, I agree completely. One of my biggest pet peeves is when I watch a trailer and I ask myself, or I say to myself, what the hell was that? I want to know. I want to know what this movie is going to be about. And I think when trailers do reveal a lot, that means they are confident. That even if you've seen a lot in the trailer, you're still going to enjoy yourself in the film. So I agree with you on that. For me, it was a very unique experience. My first scene, I think, it's like a FaceTime scene.
Before that, you talk through the phone.
Right, but actually, when I shot that day,
yeah,
that was my first scene of the movie, I think.
Yeah.
And they had quite a large camera on an apparatus, so it wasn't a phone. You know, a phone's easy to do FaceTime.
Yeah. Okay. You're just pretending you're having a phone. Okay.
Yeah. So I had to hold this massive camera and talk to it like it was my phone, and that I've never acted to a phone or a camera before like that. So I was like the cameraman and the actor. So that was interesting. And I asked the director if I was going to get a cameraman credit for it because I had to film myself.
Yeah. Did they get that? No.
No.
You should, we still have some time before it's been released in Korea.
I could work that out. I might give him a call tonight.
Yeah. Okay. Give him another call.
Yeah.
You should get the.
Yeah, I should get paid for it. Maybe they can like.
Yeah. The more credit, the more money you get. So
yes.
do that.
Yeah. They can pay me in tacos.
Oh yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah. I'm easily satisfied.
Okay. And like you said, we have these young directors, co-directors directing this movie. Anish Chakanti, who directed the predecessor movie, became a producer of this movie.
Yes.
And the editors of that movie became co-directors of this movie. You must have conversation with them about this movie. So what was their approach or main concerns directing this movie?
I didn't notice any concerns. What I noticed, which was exciting, was extreme confidence. Two young guys, I'm not gonna age them because I don't know how old they are exactly, but very young to me, and full of confidence, full of enthusiasm, even on my ADR sessions. So this summer I was doing ADR for this movie, which is additional voice recording. And we would do it over the phone on Zoom, and then I would record into a recording device and then send it to them, and then vice versa. And they were just having so much fun with it. It's like when you're a child and you don't worry about consequences. Yeah. And usually when you do that, the art is better.
Yeah, you need it sometimes to
you
make
need
an art.
Blind confidence. And these two guys are full of confidence. And it was very reassuring. And we had a lot of fun in some of the scenes where I was speaking to her throughout the film. They were right there beside me, throwing me ideas and cheering when they liked a cut or something I did, really excited. Wow, that was great, man. Can we try this? Can we try that? And it was very liberating because sometimes you don't get to try anything. It's just what's on the page, we shoot it, move on. And it was very refreshing. It felt like I was shooting like a project for a film school. Very quick, very manic, and exciting. Okay. Yeah.
And next, I have to ask you about your character and your role a little bit deeper. In this movie, because the main story is about June, it centers around June, who goes looking for her missing mother. So inevitably, June's screen time is much longer than the other characters, including Elijah. But the thing I found interesting about your character, Elijah, is that every time he appears in the movie, he sets the tone for what's going to happen next in the movie.
Yeah.
Like when they're talking through a phone, then when they had the first call, he sounds quite tired and he gives somewhat automatical answers to a random teenage girl asking too much questions. So he gives a frustration to the movie. And at one point, Elijah also gives a big announcement in front of media, making the movie heavier than what happened before in the movie. And also at one point, Elijah raises an important question to June that changes many things in the movie. And your responsibility is to make Elijah do his thing, set out a certain tone in the movie every time he appears in the movie. So what was your approach designing and expressing him on the screen?
It's always tricky. I think that as I've grown as an actor, things I didn't realize when I was younger is how important it is to really, really absorb the story from the beginning to end. And especially when you're playing a supporting role like this, to understand what an important tool you are and how your tone has to change accordingly throughout the film. So I had to think to myself where I want him to be, because he's not there often, but when he does come in, he's like a lighthouse or an anchor for the film. He tells the audience, this is where we're at, this is what level the crime is at, this is what we know. And so it's important that his tone matched what was happening throughout the film. So it was a lot of just trust with the directors. Unfortunately, I didn't get to see a lot of what Storm had shot. So I wish I could have seen more, but I just trusted them and they took me through it, and you know, hopefully it matched up well. Like I said, I've yet to see the movie in full, so I'm excited to see it. But yeah, it was a fun challenge. It was frustrating at times because I only had one day to really shoot this. But I mean, I think that they're happy with how it turned out, so we'll see.
Well, I've watched the movie. You're great,
Oh,
and
thank you.
the whole thing flows so smoothly. So
Thank you.
Great job, and I wanted to just say that I love the movie.
Oh, great. Thank you very much, man. Thank you.
My next question is somewhat trivial, but a really important theme in the movie. Both movies, Searching and Missing, has their theme about family, the family you don't fully understand.
Sure.
Like, in both movies, while solving the mystery of the missing family member, the lead role realizes how little he or she actually knew about the missing person. We all have families and we all have those kind of experiences as we grow up. So how did the theme come to you?
I mean, you ever see a picture of your mother or father when they were young? And
I
then
was so surprised.
sometimes you think to yourself, they were my age once too. They're just people. To me, they're mom. To me, they're dad. But if you look at an old picture, they were just kids. You know, my mom was 22 when she had me. My father was 32. I'm 43 now. He was 10 years younger than me. What I'm saying is that even your family, they've had different lives outside of you. And, you know, I think it's important to know that you do know your family members, but they're human. They make mistakes, and no one's perfect. And I think it's really interesting. I think you may never know someone completely. It's an existential question. Like, can you ever really know someone? And so this movie explores that a bit. And also, what does that do to the relationship? With June's journey with her mother here, what does that do to their relationship? You know what I mean? I like that we've pressed that and asked those questions. So that's also a really 매력적인 point for this film.
True.
Yeah.
Well, it's interesting to see you like have to find Korean words to what's in your mind.
왜냐면 영어로는 그런 거 없잖아요. 매력.
매력적인 포인트.
거의 없어요. 매력은 charming, charismatic.
But it's a little bit different.
It's different. There's a lot of words in Korean that don't exist in English, like 말도 안 돼.
True.
매력.
True. It's one of the really 매력적인 point of the movie.
Yeah, exactly.
So go find what's the 매력 in it.
Go
in this
find
movie.
the 매력, yeah.
Okay. Every Korean viewers know about your career. It's more than 17 years since you made your debut as an actor.
Crazy.
So you've been a star in Korea. And back in 2021, I read an interview. In that interview, you said you're actually hoping to direct a movie.
Yeah.
And in the interview, you said you're writing something.
Yes.
And back then, you were hoping to film that in Korea in 2022. So
Yeah.
how's that going on? Did that happen?
Yeah, it's going quite well. We're still in the finishing periods of the last draft of the script, so I can't reveal too much. But I'm excited to try directing. I'm also hoping to perhaps maybe do an episode of Wheel of Time at some point.
Oh, that would be a good experience.
Yeah, it's tricky. It's a big project. You know, a lot of special effects and a lot of problems to solve. But yeah, I really would love to attempt a small Korean film here. And luckily, I feel like I'm in a place now in my career where I can ask people for, you know, maybe financing or to give me a hand. And I think people will trust me. And you know, so hopefully we can get things going this year. The problem is my schedule. It's not a problem. It's a blessing. But it's hard when I work so much. So, but thank you for asking, and hopefully you'll see it.
Well, I'm really curious about your project, so I hope find the time to film it. And I can't wait to meet you as a director in the future.
We'll see. We'll see. Well, only if it's a good movie. If it's not, well, you don't want to meet me after that.
Yeah. I made a mistake. I'll watch the movie first. I'll contact you.
Yeah, tell you what. If it's terrible, don't even call me. You don't have to. It's fine.
Okay. If you don't hear from me, that means something.
You know it's a bad movie.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's fine. It's honest.
Good. We talked briefly about your new movie, Missing, your character, and your career future projects.
Yeah.
And I think it's almost time for us to wrap things up. But there are some people always haven't made their mind until the last minute. So for those who haven't decided their mind whether they're going to watch this movie or not in theater, what would you like to say to them?
안녕하세요. I think it's fun to be challenged in a movie. You will see something you haven't seen before. This film, I had a lot of people who have went to screenings of this film, and they came back to me and they said, I didn't think I was going to like it, but I loved it. A lot of older people too, because it feels like a very young movie, right? For a younger generation, but it's not. It's for everybody. And if nothing more, it's a life lesson. Be careful what you do online.
True. I actually learned quite a lot watching this movie.
Be careful with your passwords. Be careful with how often. Just take some time away from the internet.
Okay, go check out the movie and learn your lessons from this movie. 다니엘 해니 너무 고맙습니다.
감사합니다.
네, 그렇게 배우 다니엘 해니와의 시간이 마무리되었습니다. 다니엘 해니가 출연하는 서치2는 지금 극장에서 만나보실 수 있으니까요. 궁금하신 분들은 바로 확인해 보시길 바라며 저는 다음번 다른 영상으로 인사드리도록 하죠. 지금까지 저는 천재이승국의 이승국이었습니다. 감사합니다. 바이바이.